There's a certain way your mind works that most people don't notice at first. It shows up in small moments, in conversations where you're already thinking three steps ahead while the other person is still forming their first sentence, in situations where something feels off long before there's any clear reason for it. You pick up on patterns quickly, connect things others don't even realize are related, and sometimes, without trying, you see through the things people are attempting to hide. Most people assume this simply means you're intelligent, but that's not entirely what's happening. Because what we call high intelligence often feels very different from the inside. It isn't always loud or obvious. It doesn't always come with clarity or confidence. In many cases, it comes with a mind that doesn't easily switch off. Always processing, always analyzing, always noticing more than it can comfortably hold. It's a pattern of thinking that shows up in specific habits. Habits that don't always look like strengths on the surface, but are often tied to a deeper way of understanding the world. Habit 1 is that you think in layers, not in straight lines. A simple statement doesn't stay simple in your mind. It expands. You begin to explore what was said, why it was said, and what it connects to. What looks like overthinking is often pattern recognition working quietly beneath the surface. Habit 2 is that you notice inconsistencies almost immediately. A slight shift in tone, a contradiction, something small that doesn't align, and your mind registers it. Cognitive psychology explains that the brain constantly builds internal models of how things should make sense, and when something deviates, it flags it automatically. That's why certain situations can feel uncomfortable before anything has even happened. Habit 3 is that you struggle with simple answers. That's just how it is, rarely satisfies you. Your mind looks for depth, for the reason behind the reason. You don't just ask what happened, you ask why it happened, what influenced it, and what it could lead to next. And once you see that level of complexity, it's hard to return to simplicity. Habit 4 is that you're highly aware of your own thinking. You can observe your emotions as they happen, almost like watching them from the outside. But that awareness doesn't always give you control. As psychologist Daniel Kahneman explains in Thinking Fast and Slow, much of human behavior is driven by automatic mental processes that operate beyond conscious awareness. So you can understand your patterns and still find yourself repeating them. Habit 5 is that you often feel mentally ahead of your environment. You process quickly, reach conclusions early, and sometimes feel like you're waiting for others to catch up. Over time, this can create a quiet sense of disconnection. Not because you feel superior, but because your mind is moving at a different pace. Habit 6 is that you're drawn to meaning. You don't just experience things, you analyze them. You reflect on what they represent, why they stayed with you, and what they reveal. Your inner world becomes active, sometimes more active than you'd like. Habit 7 is that you can hold multiple perspectives at once. You can see how opposing ideas can both contain truth. But while this creates depth, it also removes certainty, making decisions feel heavier. Habit 8 is that you question yourself more than others do. Not from insecurity, but from thorough thinking. Your mind evaluates possibilities, checks for errors, and considers alternatives. It looks like self-doubt, but often it's precision. Habit 9 is that you find it difficult to switch off. Even in quiet moments, your mind continues running, reflecting, analyzing, revisiting. It's not always something you choose. It's simply how your mind operates. Habit 10 is quieter. You see things clearly. But that clarity doesn't always make things easier. Sometimes it makes things heavier. Because understanding people deeply also means understanding their contradictions, their inconsistencies, and their limitations. But here's what most people miss. None of this is inherently good or bad. It's simply a way of processing reality. There are moments where it gives you clarity others don't have, and moments where it makes things more complex than they need to be. Both are real, and both can exist at the same time. Because intelligence like this isn't just about knowing more, it's about seeing more. And once you see more, you don't always get the option to see less. If this felt familiar, there's more to understand about how your mind works. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe because more interesting content is on the way.